Oh, hi.
Hi. If it looks like I've lost some weight, it's because I basically lost a ton of water weight over the past couple days.
Yeah.
Not what you would think, though. I didn't throw up, but I had quite a thing. I couldn't eat my Turnidos on Sunday. I couldn't eat my birthday cake on Sunday.
Yeah.
I was going to the bathroom every 5 to 10 minutes.
We had all the family gathered on Sunday, just 2 days ago.
Which was when we were supposed to do this video, by the way.
Yeah, and her dad prepped, a special dinner, and a beautiful cake was made, and Leah could partake in none of it.
Nope. It pained me. It pained me so. Especially because my dad, like, right off the bat when we got there, like, I was feeling kind of but I thought I was just hungover or something. And my dad was saying, like, he spent a lot of money on this meat, and I was like, oh my gosh, didn't have to do that, blah, blah, blah. And then it hit me, and I was like, I can't even eat. It was horrible.
Honestly, the timing could have been worse. I mean, if you felt on Sunday the way you felt on Monday, I don't think we would have gone to East Troy.
No, because by Monday I only had 1 or 2 episodes on Monday, but Monday I was just completely drained.
Right. Yeah, you could barely get out of bed. So it was weird because on Sunday, we didn't see much of you. But when we saw you, you're in perfectly good spirits, and you're like, yeah, hanging out. And then
I was playing it off.
I'm sure you were. But on Monday and today, really, you were completely malnutritious. So the timing was real bad. Could have been worse. But we have leftovers for you.
I know. And Dad told us how to reheat the
Yes, and we will follow those instructions.
But yeah, I've felt so guilty, but my parents, they were like, they just felt bad for me.
Yeah, we all did. Of course we did. Like, felt guilty. You're ridiculous.
And I don't think it was a bug. I really don't.
No?
Because I would have had to have gotten it from, like, number one suspect would have been Isaac.
Mm.
But he didn't have any of those symptoms lately. I mean, couldn't have gotten it from the girls. They've been here or at MRIs. I mean, like dance and gymnastics, but they didn't have those symptoms. I don't really go many places except for like the store or whatever. Like, I don't know that I could have picked it up there. Nobody else has, exhibited anything. It could take a couple days maybe, so I don't know if we're in the clear yet, but I just think my main thing that I don't think it's a bug is because I've been having stomach issues all week.
Right.
I told you actually early on in the week, like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
my stomach's been acting weird. I think I just hadn't been good about eating well, and I think I was drinking too much, and I think my body was just like, no, we're done. Or it was food poisoning.
Yeah.
It makes me a little bit worried about, you eating the leftover chicken cordon bleu.
Oh, I'll eat it.
Well, if you start fire hosing, then
we'll know. Then we'll know, and I will still have enjoyed a delicious meal.
I don't think it was that either, though. I don't know what it was. It was I have never had...
What in the hell was that sound?
Don't know.
It sounds like it was kicking off a sprinkler system, but this weird, like, belting noise.
I've never experienced that particular symptom to that level and quantity. I don't think ever in my life.
Especially not without it leading to throwing up or something.
Yeah.
Like, I've had that when it then transitioned to, other stomach flu issues.
No, I never threw up.
It's
I
weird,
felt
man.
kind of semi-nauseous a little bit, but I think that was just...
Dehydration.
And, there's weird stuff going on with my stomach.
Right.
I never threw up. I never actually got to the point where I'm like, I've got to lean over or anything. No. It never got to that point.
Unless it's like a full-on stomach flu, but your mind over matter instinct kicked in and it just refused to feel nauseous.
But again, where would I have gotten it?
It's like COVID. It's, only contagious to people who aren't in our family.
Anyway, so yeah, that's why this video is delayed and why I look a little more gaunt, which I really do.
And yet you lament not being able to work out.
Only because I was trying to get to 950 minutes of working out for the month, and I would have been able to get there, I think.
I still maintain that you can log that time as working out.
No,
because your stomach is working out.
I can't do that.
We should start.
Yes. It is late. So, we got B99 Season 2, Episode 22, The Chopper. Open on Shake asking Gina for a file.
Shake.
Yes.
Thanks, autocorrect. That's awesome. Yes, his new name is Shake, Detective Shake. It was a crossover event with Aqua Teen Hunger Force. And, yeah.
Jake asking Gina for a file. She's staring at her phone. Naturally, he challenges the squad to a bet of making her look up from her phone. Terry wins. He changed his relationship status to "it's complicated,"
Which made Gina immediately stand up and go, "Terry, are you serious?"
And then Terry gets a phone call from his wife. My thumb slipped. I have to go home.
I have to go home. But yes, just exemplifying how highly inappropriate Gina really is when it comes to Terry.
Post-credits, Jake is excited that Carl Mather was murdered, part of the Fulton Street Four. He says this is an opening for him to find the $21 million they stole.
Basically, these four guys stole $21 million, and
they all just got paroled.
They all just got paroled, and it was a case of Jake's from back in the day. And he's like, okay, now that one of them has been murdered, I'm convinced that somebody is murdering the other four in order to get all the 21 million. Other three, thank you, mathematics. In order to get the 21 mil for himself.
Holt urges caution as Wunsch is watching. Jake imagines himself busting the perpetrator by jumping out of a chopper with a knife in his mouth. Meanwhile, Terry says he needs the magnet school field trip to the precinct to go well so his girls can get into this magnet preschool. Back at the crime scene, Jake announces another of the Fulton Four was murdered. Holt admits Jake was right. Holt says they have to meet with Wunsch now. It's probably going to major crimes. Terry leads the field trip. Gina, meanwhile, connects with the students. At Wunsch's office... Wunsch. Jake,
yeah, I noticed in the little location write-up that the spelling was different from the spelling I've been using. It's very important. Yes, and with the T, it, helps with my autocorrect issues.
It's like when, people, when you say Hitchborn, and they want to put a T in there. But when the T isn't in there, they say Hickborn. Hichborn. Hitchborn.
Much like my podcast did to me.
Maybe it is supposed to be pronounced Hickborn.
Not you too.
No, I'm saying, whatever. Jake and Holt discuss the Jake?
What?
Jake and Holt discuss the Jake.
Where? Case?
That's probably a case. Jake downplays the importance of the case. Holt relays Jake's theory. Wunsch gives them resources and her full support.
Holt is, understandably, suspicious of this.
Jake goes over the last two suspects with Boyle. Holt places himself on the case. He thinks that Wunsch is trying to set them up for failure. Back at the field trip, Terry meets with the principal and leaves Amy in charge. She asks Gina and Rosa for help. Gina's managing preteen drama. So desperate, she offers to show a picture of a dead body to these middle schoolers. So at Suspect 3, Bloodsoe's apartment, they find Bloodsoe hiding, scared he'll be killed. Things are going well for Terry and the principal, but then they see Amy and Gina showing the kids a bunch of dead bodies. Pictures of dead bodies, not like actual dead bodies.
True.
You keep writing...
There was talk of a bag of hands in the evidence locker.
Yes. You keep writing Bledsoe, like Drew Bledsoe, but it was Bloodsoe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was with you.
Oh. I legitimately thought it was Bledsoe, and I'm simultaneously attracted to you for knowing who Drew Bledsoe is.
He was the quarterback of the Patriots when the Packers beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl in 1997?
You're not making me less attracted to you.
That was the first time I actually... Because we went to my aunt and uncle's house in Green Bay for the Super Bowl party, and I remember that.
You're 100% correct, and it's amazing.
I even decorated the cake.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they had the cake, and I was like, ooh, can I decorate it? And I did a little G, and then I tried to do the Patriots thing, and it, looked probably about as good as you would imagine, but...
Well, the Patriots logo is horrendous and awful and terrible to look at, so that seems appropriate.
And I also know that Drew Bledsoe got injured, and that's what led to Tom Brady.
You don't talk about that.
Too bad I'm in the no-fly zone.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's fine. It's fine!
Just, hold on to that. A couple weeks. Be good. Anyway... Bledsoe says Mikey D stole his key for the 21 mil. Mikey D, isn't that one of
That's Beastie Boys.
Beastie Boys.
I'm sure it was an intentional reference, even though they refer to him as D'Angelo from there on out. But yeah, so each of the four member of the Fulton Four had a key that was necessary to open the safe to get to the 21 mil. So hence why one of them is murdering the rest of them.
Jake called Wunsch and requested a chopper without clearing it with Holt. On the chopper, Jake and Boyle are messing around. Holt is tense. He wants to know why Wunsch is being helpful. Says his career is over if Mikey D gets away. Tammy, yes, Terry and Amy, Tammy, plead their case to the principal. The principal is actually impressed with Gina's help. At the heist for Mikey D, the police have the place staked out. Jake bets Holt that a pigeon flies out in slow motion. Holt takes that bet. Mikey D is dead and Bledsoe escapes. Holt is furious. Jake goes to talk to him. Jake convinces him that his mind is more on the case than Holt's. Holt agrees, says, I'm through with the politics. Let's get this punk. Holt goes all in with the call signs. He becomes Velvet Thunder.
Yeah, so Jake has been messing around this whole time, really excited about being on a chopper and everything, and Holt's like, you're just messing around like this is one big movie to you, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, Jake and Boyle were having fun coming up with call signs on the chopper and everything like that, and he was insistent that we call it a chopper, not a helicopter. But once it's discovered that Mikey D is dead, Jake basically convinces Holt that I've actually been in on this case, and you have been focused on one this entire time. Like, my head, I'm messing around, but that's how I do police work.
Yeah.
And Holt's like, you're right, I've been distracted by the politics and by what Wunsch is doing instead of focusing on the case. And he's the one that's like, what are Bledsoe's known places? He worked at an ice cream shop, even though he was waiting on a coffee shop. Even though he was waiting on 21 mil, why would he do that? Well, okay, there's probably a safe there. Let's go there.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Terry's kids are taken off the waiting list, so they've gotten in. Not that they're
Right.
Yeah. And then they find Bledsoe at his coffee shop. Wunsch congratulates Holt. He asks why, because she's like, no, I wanted you to succeed. Now she can promote him to a desk job with PR.
I'm reminded of Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist when what's his name was put in head of PR.
Oh, Simon?
Yeah, in a kind of weird way.
Which, by the way, I don't think we've addressed this yet.
I think we did, but
Did we?
I think we did.
I can't remember. But Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist has now been canceled. Like, actually, not like, you know, cultural they're like, no, they
Like,
canceled.
NBC canceled them. And they're working on reinstating. I'm pretty sure we talked about this, but yeah, I'm not pleased about it.
It was such a good show.
I just have memories of, again, I brought this up last time, but the last musical show we were into. Gallivant, yeah. They're working on trying to find other venues. I hope they do, because it was a really good show with a really interesting plot, and it
ended on a bit of a cliffhanger. And they didn't see it coming because it ended on a bit of a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Like, and then the stars have come out and said, like, what?
We're totally blindsided. Like, Gallivant saw it coming.
Yeah.
They knew from day one, but this show is like, what just happened?
Yeah. Anyway.
Because network television is scared of being, adventurous.
For as much as they talk about inclusivity, and let's face it, the show got into race relations, LGBTQ, which we're whatever about, but
they checked all the boxes, but
it's not a cop show.
But it's not a cop show, which is what
what Jane Levy
called them out on. Yeah.
Yeah, Jane Levy. I got it right this time, not Jane Lynch.
Right. Yeah. Another regular on a singing show. But yeah.
Anyway, so episode 23, the season 2 finale.
Right.
Johnny and Dora.
Oh man.
Open on Scully crying over a vending machine being removed. And then the rest of the squad is equally as disturbed by this. The squad give it a eulogy. The vending machine breaks, and free candy! Post credits. At the morning briefing, we meet Brooklyn's most prolific identity thief. Augustine. Jake and Amy are assigned to the case. Jake asks for Boyle instead. Holt assigns Amy. That's it. So Amy asks Jake what's up. He says he wants to ask her out again, and now he feels awkward, but he understands her position. Let's just be professional, because she had said, I'm not going to date cops anymore.
Because it ended with Teddy.
Right. And then the other guy, the guy from Raising Hope, I can't remember what his name was.
Oh, was she dating him?
No, but he was going to ask her out.
Oh, right, okay.
And yeah, that was the whole thing. Terry and Gina meet with Holt. He tells them about Wunsch's move. He says that we need to find the letter in which Wunsch insulted her current boss. Meanwhile, Boyle wishes Rosa a happy birthday. But he knows that she doesn't like that, so he's like, I know you're not doing anything tonight, so will you help me move a Miss Pac-Man machine that he bought? She accuses Marcus of setting her up with a surprise party, which she hates. So
basically, Boyle's like, hey, I bought this Miss Pac-Man machine. Will you help me move it out of this bar? Since I know you're not doing anything tonight because you hate birthday parties. She's like, you asked me to go to a bar on my birthday. Marcus set me up, and she, freaks out at him.
Yeah. And Boyle's just like, no, it's just... So he's deflecting. So then Boyle, Rosa, Amy, and Jake stake out Augustine. Amy disguises herself by unbuttoning her top button. Jake has to don Johnson a suit coat that Scully or Hitchcock, one of the two, left in the van.
No, yeah, so, they're in the, Amy, Jake, Boyle, and Rosa are all in the, stakeout van, and Amy and Jake had talked about, we'll be fine, we'll just keep it totally casual, we're colleagues, it's fine.
Professional.
We're very professional, and then Amy's like, alright, we should go in and check that out. Oh, but we look like cops. Alright.
Because the guy is going in for a dinner date with his gal.
Right. So, it's kind of a romantic restaurant. So she's like, I gotta look the parts, she unbuttons, and Jake is immediately distracted.
Yeah.
For some reason. Don't know why.
So, rolled up suit sleeves.
Oh, yeah. So he goes in with rolled up suit sleeves. The Don Johnson look. Fuzzy look.
So Jake and Amy go in. Their code names are Johnny and Dora. They try to get a date in the restaurant where Augustine is. They get in by pretending to be engaged. Amy kisses Jake, which throws him off. Oh, kiss on the cheek.
Yeah, again, in character, undercover.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of freaks me out.
They get seated, and it's next to Augustine and his date, who heard their cover. So they're like, oh, you just got engaged, congratulations, and whatever.
Mm-hmm. Augustine's date is all into it, asking about their relationship.
Yeah, it's cute.
Augustine buys them food and everything.
Gina and Terry break into the files office to get the letter. They get it. Well, they get the whole filing cabinet.
Yeah.
And Terry is trying to get into the filing cabinet while Gina is distracting the filing guy by asking him about birds because she knows that he's into birds, and they talk about geckos and stuff. It's really, really funny. It's a good scene.
It's a really good scene.
But because he can't get into the filing cabinet, he just takes the whole filing cabinet and walks past. This guy doesn't even fucking notice. So they get the letter. Holt tells them to get Wunsch. Meanwhile, at the stakeout, Rosa makes Boyle admit there's a party. And she says, clearly you don't know me, and she's really pissed at him. Demotes him from being able to call her Rosa to Diaz or Hey You. Meanwhile, at the restaurant, Augustine buys Amy and Jake champagne and oysters, and they dish about their relationship. But at one point, they do clearly speak honestly about why they're in love. Holt and Wunsch meet in the interrogation room. She basically sexually assaults him while patting him down to check for a wire. Jake and Amy try to catch Augustine making the drop, and then they kiss to preserve their cover. The sexual tension is seriously delicious. The show makes you feel things. Yes.
Yes.
After the heist, Amy and Jake, Rosa and Boyle are following Augustine. They admit to the kiss. Boyle is super weird about it. Holt presents Wunsch with the letter. He gives her until tomorrow to reverse the promotion. Boyle grills Rosa to argue that he knows her. Amy and Jake wait time to see who picks up the package. They have a good talk and kiss again to make the arrest. Because the guy who's making the pickup kind of notices them, and Amy's like, oh.
Well, we're doing this.
Yep.
Then she plants one on Jake. The guy making the pickup is like, okay, they're not anybody. So he picks up the package, and then they make the arrest.
Yep.
So 2 kisses now on this, or 3 kisses now on this cover.
Yes. But at the end of the day, they want things to go back to normal. Boyle and Rosa go to the bar. He asks her to be normal for the surprise party. Turns out Marcus rented out the whole bar so that no one would be there. Boyle seriously came through for Rosa, which is really cute.
Yeah, and she's like, you really do know me.
Yeah, and it's nice because at this point, you know, there's no romantic thing with Rosa and Boyle anymore. It's just pure friendship.
Yeah.
And I think even at this point, you're still maybe kind of hoping they get together, but it, you know, it's whatever. It is what it is. Once and Holt meet, she feels him up again. She threatens the whole squad, basically. Okay, yeah, you can give that letter over, but there's going to be months of investigation, and in that time, I will still be able to, you know,
reassign each member.
Which I'm like, but if there's going to be an investigation, wouldn't she be put on leave?
Yeah.
I don't know that. I think that was an empty threat.
I kind of think so, too.
But
Holt is, let's face it, he's kind of terrified of Wunsch.
Mm-hmm. And her threat to reassign all of the detectives that he cares about in the 9-9, he backs down.
Yep.
Which I think was a mistake, because I think he could have come back with, yes, the investigation will take months, but you would be on leave and you wouldn't have any power to do anything at all.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to take that risk. So, so then he tells the squad that he's leaving, and he gets emotional. Jake tells him to go back being robotic, and he does the beep boop thing, and it's super sweet and super heart-wrenching. They're all stunned. Gina vows to go with him.
So does Scully, and he's like, that's not necessary.
Jake goes to talk to Amy. She's in shock, and you know it's in the evidence room, and he's like, you know, she's like, yeah, I'm just in shock. I needed to process it, and he's like, yeah, I feel like when my dad left, and I feel like I'm gonna repress it, and she's like, yeah, just, you know, everything's gonna change now. And then he does the kiss. Kisses her. It's amazingly acted, and for me, that's like, of all the shows we've seen with those kinds of kisses, it's number 2 for me.
Sure.
Number 1
New Girl
is and always will be the Nick and Jess kiss from New Girl. But this is a very, very close second. Just that it's what every girl dreams of for a kiss, like that.
Emotionally vulnerable and open, and no music. It was just so natural. Really well done. I felt things.
Yes. Me too. I'm really sad it's no-fly zone.
Mm-hmm.
They're interrupted by Boyle saying the new captain is here. They kissed and then they broke away, and then Boyle showed up, so it's not like he caught them mid-kiss or anything.
Right, sure.
So the new captain is episode end. He said, I seriously thought Holt recorded Wunsch feeling him up. Damn. Oh, that was the season finale. So we got season 3, episode 1, new captain.
Wunsch feeling him up, I could have sworn, and maybe that's a thing that happens soon. Because every time they meet, she's like, how do I know you're not wearing a wire? And then she pats him down, but it's really overly sexual.
And she planted a kiss on him, too. Like, there's so many reasons why Wunsch should be fired for sexual assault.
Yeah.
Anywho, season 3, episode 1, new captain, preciously on. Oh. Holt's leaving, Jake and Amy kiss. New captain is Bill fucking Hader. He's Dozerman. He's all about efficiency. Efficiency. Jake is like, you can just say that once, right? He's anti-people. He lives his life by numbers. And he's a bit of a dick. He shouts at them, then he has a heart attack. Post-credits. Jake and Amy meet in the copy room. Dozerman survived. He and Amy discuss their kiss. They decide to keep things light and breezy, and they're like, well, how do we keep it light and breezy? And then they come up with a comprehensive set of rules. Noteworthy, no sex right away. Should we go out tonight? Sure. Meanwhile, Holt and Gina arrive at their new digs. Wunsch introduces Holt to the new office, and their work is meaningless.
Yeah,
trying to name a fucking pigeon.
Yeah, they're supposed to name the mascot, yeah.
Back at the precinct, Dozerman explains away his condition. They hand out iPads to everyone to keep them on schedule. Jake and Amy keep their relationship from Boyle. He's determined to get them together, even though they are. On their date, On their date, it's super awkward. How do we make it not awkward? Drink! And they banged.
Whoopsie.
Hope it wasn't a mistake. Title of your sex tape. Title of our sex tape.
So we have Jake and Amy have now had sex for the first time.
Yes. Boyle is devastated that Jake slept with the mystery woman.
Who Jake told him was the floozy from the gym.
Yeah. Dozerman calls Jake into his office to ask why everyone is gathered around his desk. Jake plays him. Dozerman likes Jake. At Holt's gig, his squad has been working on naming a mascot. It's not a squad, it's like the PR division, but he wants to discuss community engagement, but Wunsch shoots him down. She demands he name the pigeon, and he resists, and then he relents. Jake and Amy meet in evidence. They agree to make out. Dozerman catches them. He yells at them, and then he has a real heart attack. And as he's dying, he says, tell my wife I love her. Work ethic. And he's dead. Like, actually dead.
Yeah. And that's it. R.I.P. Bill Hader.
So, Terry asks Jake and Amy what got Dozerman so worked up and asks them to pull the security tapes. Jake admits they were kissing. Boyle celebrates. The squad interrogates them. Terry's disappointed in them. Rosa and Boyle are excited to look back at the security tapes. It was great. Back with Gina and Holt, Wunsch meets with Holt. He proposes a truce. He says he could turn the department around. Wunsch says he should wear the pigeon costume because she's evil.
The worst.
She is the worst. Back at the precinct, Terry is still trying to meet Dozerman's demands. Jake and Amy discuss their relationship. Amy wants to go back to being colleagues. Boyle is horrified that they broke up. He yells at Jake for trying to make a relationship light and breezy. He's actually right.
Yeah. I really
And he keeps punching Jake, which is great.
I really enjoyed that scene because, you know, Jake and Amy are like, oh, how are we make it work and not make it awkward? And in our profession. And, we'll just make it light and breezy. We'll just, and Jake tries to explain this to Boyle, and Boyle's like, that's not what relationships are. You commit. You can't just do that. And I get both sides, because, if you're meeting somebody new and just going on like a blind date, then yeah, it's light and breezy, but they know each other. Jake and Amy are friends.
They've already established a relationship.
If you're going to take it to the next level, you commit. That's it. And I can attest to this on a very personal level. That's how relationships are built. That's what they're supposed to be. And once you're with somebody, you are with them. And, yeah, no regrets.
Yeah, once you and I kissed.
It was over.
I haven't kissed anyone else since then.
Yeah. Not until, like, you gave our children a kiss. It's... No. If you're with somebody, they are your only priority. And if it's not going to work, then you cut it off. But okay, light and breezy with, like, a blind date situation, which I have no experience with. Maybe in that scenario, but not with somebody that you know, not with somebody that you're friends with. Boyle is 100% correct.
Oh, yeah. And Jake knows it, and he said as such. So Jake agrees to go talk to Amy. He opens the door to go talk to her, but Amy's at the door.
She's right there.
She's like, she wanted someone to talk to about all this stuff, and then she realized the only person she wanted to talk to was Jake.
Can relate.
That's what relationships are all about, baby.
Yep. When you realize that the only person you want to talk to about all this stuff is that one person, that's the person you're supposed to be with.
Yeah. 15 years and going strong.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Holt is...
timing.
Yeah, right? Meanwhile, Holt is dressed as a pigeon.
Nice.
Gina talks him out of quitting. Say it's a shame Gina left. She really did bring something to the squad.
Yeah.
Because she does leave eventually.
Yeah.
I don't miss her.
Yeah.
Her character was a bit overbearing. Especially towards the end. Because it was the same old.
It was.
There was no more, there was really no more growth to that character.
But, so, I'm going to borrow a phrase from the internet here. She walked so Winston could run. When you say, this person walked so the next person could run, she was the inspiration for another person to blossom into this character. Because she was kind of the audience. They didn't do as good a job in Brooklyn Nine-Nine as they did in New Girl to make one particular character be the audience and be the observer.
Okay.
But that's really what Gina was. She was the observer. And she would call characters out, and she would bring out the best in characters and tell them what they needed to hear. She did a good job of that, but she was a little bit too much of her own self-absorbed character at the same time, that she couldn't grow because she wasn't just the audience. She was a little bit more than that, but they couldn't develop it without adjusting that relationship. Winston in New Girl was the most well done I've seen of a character in a TV show who had his own personality, but was still just separate enough that the audience could project themselves in his position, and he was saying what the audience was saying.
Yeah. Even when he had his own storyline with,
Yeah.
like, the girl he ended up with.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name.
Because none of his storylines were ridiculous.
I mean, they were. The pranks were pretty ridiculous.
They weren't storylines, though. They were just...
They were sidelines.
They were fun interjections of character. But, like, Gina with her dance and stuff like that are just enough to separate her from the audience to be like, she's kind of fucking weird. And, like, I wouldn't do that. But, like, audiences and pranks, it's like, yeah, that's something you want to do. That's something that just tosses some weirdness into the show just to see how the other characters would react. And that's what Winston's doing. He's just tossing things in to see how the other characters interact. It's a slight difference, but it's there. Gina was a little too self-absorbed to ever develop or adjust or, I don't know.
Yeah. I think that her exit was very well done. But if she doesn't show up in the last season at some point, I will riot. I will take it.
I definitely think she needs to. Definitely.
Oh, yeah, because she was such a huge part of it.
Yeah, she was. And the fact that it was established she was a close friend with Jake.
Yeah.
Kind of integrates her beyond the storyline to be like, no, she should be around.
There should be a thing where Jake asks her to be the godmother of his and Amy's child or something.
Yeah, they establish her to be, a character outside of a working relationship, so you can't just write her out entirely.
Right.
I mean, they hit her with a bus and they didn't kill her, so.
That's right.
We'll get there.
At the precinct, Rosa is playing along with Dozerman's tablet. Terry is impressed. And then she fucking destroys the tablet with a hammer.
Because Rosa.
So then the new captain arrive, and it's the Vulture. And Jake, no! And that's the end.
Yeah.
I love this show.
Yeah. And I can't remember how long the Vulture storyline lasts. It's not
I
particularly
actually
fun.
think, because I know the name of the next episode is The Funeral, and something that triggered a memory for me that I think that he basically lasts an episode.
Okay.
And then they bring in... trying to remember who he is. Oh! They bring in the guy, and I think he was the PI from Veronica Mars.
Oh.
They brought him in as a captain. I think, and he's kind of squirrely
and like a pushover kind of.
Yeah,
guy.
I think he comes in after the Vulture, and I think that the funeral episode is the Vulture's. Like, they have him for, like, one episode, and then it's the squirrely guy.
Okay.
Who was played by the PI from Veronica Mars.
Okay. Huh. That's kind of cool. I mean, it's horrible because he's a terrible captain, and we want Holt back, but we will get him back. Spoiler alert. They don't play this out too long. I think they take it to the episode 7, kind of, because there's this whole trope with episode 7 of where the plot of this season really takes off.
Yeah. Well, and I know at one point, and I can't remember when it is, but I know at one point Holt gets demoted so far down that he's doing, like, traffic duty. And
Is
that's
that
like
this season?
I don't know if it's this season. I know it's like at the end of a season.
Okay.
But I also know, like, the end of a season, we've got Jake and Rosa are in prison. Because that was when she was dating Pimento.
Oh, yeah.
That guy that was...
Good place.
Like, yeah. And Parks and Rec. the perfume guy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, good call.
And I know at the end of another episode, it's Jake or another season rather is
Jake and Holt
on
witness
protection in like Florida,
which was actually really enjoyable. I know it was a weird departure, but I enjoyed that storyline.
Yeah. So
we got some adventures coming up.
Yeah. But yeah.
All right.
But I don't feel like I'm gonna die.
Sounds
but we
good.
should wrap this up.
Okay. Bye.